Before proceeding with a final decision, all stakeholders must be aware of the caution required in developing any policy or implementing any strategy. In many cases, interventions require large investments of scarce resources that cannot be recovered later. As many uncertainties as possible must be resolved, or their impact minimized before any policy or response is implemented. Consideration should be given to undertaking an evaluation prior to the full implementation of a policy, especially when judgments about the effects of policies are based on theories, surrogate outcomes, limited observational studies, or inadequate randomized impact evaluations. In a policy brief, there are several ways to outline options that have important uncertainties. These include flagging uncertainties and ensuring that consideration is given to undertaking an evaluation before the full implementation, describing the full implementation and undertaking an evaluation as two separate options, and describing the option with an evaluation as a prominent element.
Monitoring and evaluation. This is needed or is useful where there's important uncertainty. There's uncertainty about the evidence. There's some evidence that you could work with, but there are some gaps or some uncertainties that need to be covered. So it's important then to keep track, of the resources, of the processes, of the outputs, outcomes resulting from implementing these interventions, and being able to assess all these factors in our local system.
These are strategies that have not been there before. We are learning as we go along. And evaluating at every point has been very helpful, feeding back into the process. Maybe this is not the best way. We assumed this is how it should be, but this is not the best way. Let's do it this way. It has been very, very helpful doing an evaluation at the end of every brief, at the end of every dialogue within a given year. Feeding back into the process has been very, very helpful. As we go along, the feedback from the people who have been a part of the process, or the people who have been at the receiving end of the briefs and the dialogues, have actually helped us to sort of turn things around. So there are things we started off doing and we are not doing anymore, or have sort of changed our minds.